Hi, everyone. My name is Jennifer. I am the content and experience design lead for Call for Code. And my colleague Gaurav is here with us today. Gaurav, you want to say hi to everyone?
Hello, everyone.
Do a quick introduction.
Sure, yeah. My name is Gaurav Ramakrishna. I'm a software developer with IBM Call for Code team. And I'm happy to join the call with Jennifer here to give you all some tips and the secrets of how to do a successful submission. Thank you for having me here.
We're so excited to talk to you all today. And absolutely, we're going to be taking you through some tips and best practices today on putting together your best submission for the global challenge, because we want to make sure that you all have everything you need to put something successful together. So first off, I want to just recap the theme for this year's global challenge is sustainability. And we get a lot of questions about the theme, so I want to talk about that for a minute. Sustainability obviously is a big topic. It involves a lot of complex issues. We do have resources on the Global Challenge competition site, on our resources site, that explain what we mean about sustainability. We have a sustainability guide. There's a PDF you can download about that talks in depth about sustainability and some of the use cases for how technology can be applied to solve sustainability issues. And really, sustainability is made up of a lot of really kind of complex, interconnected issues. But these topic areas you see here are really what we mean when we talk about global sustainability in this year's global challenge. So things like, how can we protect biodiversity around the world? How can we lower carbon emissions? How can we improve people's access to clean energy or healthy food or clean water, right? How do we reduce waste and improve recycling efforts? Or how do we improve supply chains and all of these areas, right? How can technology, and specifically AI technology, be applied to solve some of these issues? So it's really important to familiarize yourself with the theme and some of the topics within sustainability, because for the global challenge, we're really looking for projects that address a specific problem within the area of sustainability. You may have other tech for good solutions. That's fantastic. And there may be other places in the Call for Code program where your other ideas can be applied. But for the global challenge, we want to make sure that you're submitting projects that are on theme with sustainability, right? So with that, I'm going to start us off with a few of the key rules for this year's global challenge. These are just really good things for you to know as you're putting your project together to make sure that you're meeting the rules for this year, right? So speaking of sustainability, right, as I said, we want your solution to be a unique solution that addresses an issue within sustainability. If you're building a project for something else, it's not really going to qualify for the global challenge. So make sure you're on theme with that sustainability topic. You also have to build something new, something we haven't seen before, something that doesn't exist in the market. Do your homework, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a second, but to do some research and understand what's already been created in the topic area that you're pursuing, and make sure you're doing something we haven't seen before. And really key to the rules is that your solution has to have working code included. Now, this doesn't mean you have to have a full-blown production-ready application. You need kind of an MVP or a prototype of your solution, but it needs to include working code. And because of the way this year's global challenge is structured into multiple challenge rounds, your code has to be written within the duration of the round that you're submitting for. So you can do some ideation and design ahead of your round. You can be planning with your team, but when you actually sit down to code, that work needs to happen within the timeline of the challenge round that you're submitting for. Okay, and we'll talk a little bit more in a bit about some of the resources you've got available for doing that coding work. Another key rule, and Gaurav and I have been working on this a bunch, and I know everybody in the tech world right now is talking about AI, right? So this year for the global challenge, your submission must make use of at least one or more IBM AI service to be eligible for the competition. So on our resources site, we have a lot of great information about IBM AI services. We have training on AI, free training So if you've signed up for the Global Challenge, you get access right away to that free training. So make sure you're checking out those training resources and links and information on AI services that you can include in your solution. And then this is an easy one, but we get asked all the time about team formation. So teams can be up to 5 people. You can compete alone if you're just one person and you don't have teammates, but if you'd like to form a team and you're having issues with that, we can help you do that. We have a lot of great information on our site about how you can find a team, and just make sure that everybody on your team is 18 or older. So those are some of the key rules to be aware of in the competition this year. But I think another thing for us to take a look at is what the judges are going to be looking for, right? So the judges have 4 criteria that they use. They use to review projects. Each is worth 5 points. So let me turn this over to Gaurav. Talk to us a little bit about this first one: completeness and transferability, Gaurav.
Okay, thank you, Jennifer. So completeness and transferability, what does that mean when a judge is looking at your solution? So it basically is how complete is your solution. So when you're submitting a solution, the key things you have to keep in mind is whatever you claim when you submit your solution, when you say, oh, I've implemented a technology, or since one of the requirement is IBM AI technology, when you claim such things in your submission, make sure to showcase it either in your Git repository or the video demo that you're showing that how you implemented it, how you're using it within your solution, right? And also, when you say you have used a number of technologies or services or integrations of multiple technologies, always showcase how you have done that. One of the things you could do is including an overall architecture diagram in your Git repository of your solution. Also including some pointers on how each of your technology is talking to each other, of how your solution is talking to end-to-end. Keep these points in your mind on what you're claiming when you're submitting a project is showcased in your Git repository or a video to the judge to understand that your project is complete. And Jennifer earlier mentioned about you can't give a full-blown solution at the very first time. A minimal viable product level should be good enough. But it's really important to know that when you're submitting a solution, when you're solving a problem, at least the core essential components of the solution should be highlighted. And you can include other stuff in your roadmap, but make sure at least the core problem solving feature or functionality is implemented and you're showcasing it as in your solution, so that the judge will know, okay, this project is at least a minimal viable product to consider, and it carries a lot of weight there.
I think that's a great point, Gaurav, because the judges, again, they're not expecting you to have built an entire app in a 6-week round, but they are looking at potential, right? They're looking to see that the key pieces, as you said, of the solution are in place, and that there's potential for that solution to eventually scale and be put to use helping real people, right? Because that's a big part of Call for Code, how we take a solution from an idea to a deployable solution in communities where it can make a real difference, right? Which exactly. That kind of takes me to the next criteria here, which is design and usability. And as a designer myself, this one is near and dear to my heart, right? I spend a lot of time talking with teams about the usability of their solution, right? You might code something really brilliant, but if an everyday person has no way of interacting with it, there's no user interface to it, it's hard to use, that makes it a lot less effective at making a difference in sustainability, right? So think about who you're building your solution for. If you're building a solution for a small farmer, how is that farmer going to work with your solution? Be thinking about that. Be interviewing farmers if you have a chance to, right? Whoever that user is for your solution, think about their experience and how they would have access to your solution. If you're building something that's going to take a lot of work for them to get to, it's going to take them out of their normal day-to-day, they're less likely to use it. And so your solution would be less effective. That's something the judges are going to be thinking about. How would people use this and how would it actually make a difference, right? Which I think ties a little bit to effectiveness and efficiency, right?
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, talking about effectiveness and efficiency, again, for this one, a judge would be looking at a perspective where how your solution is creating an impact, meaning are you solving a critical problem, right? What level of criticalness is this? Now, how do you, justify that to a judge looking at your solution, right? You can do some research on the problem you're trying to solve, on, backing up and giving those justification on what is the problem about, and what is the current world or issues that is talking globally. You can back up with some articles, you can give some insights, some metrics about them to showcase this is a problem, this is the impact that is creating in today's world with this problem. And then you can showcase how you have an idea and you're solving this problem and what is that solution giving as an impact. Another key factor you got to keep in mind is the scalability. What does that mean? Say, for example, you have come up with an idea to solve an issue, which could be a locally addressed currently, but also, like I mentioned, do some research if that problem exists in different parts of the world too, right? If that is like, cascading in different places, and if your solution can be implemented in different regions of the world, and if it's solving at a global level, think about that as a scalability of your project. So these are the two main factors when we talk about effectiveness and efficiency. One is how critical problem are you solving? How are you backing that up by including some insights and research work on today's world, and then also showing the scalability aspect of your solution that could be applicable to different communities, regions throughout the globe.
I think that research point is so key in a lot of these criteria, right? Making sure that your team has done your homework, you've done your research on what solutions already exist, what actual problems you're trying to solve, talking to people that work in that space about the everyday problems they have. And that gets us to this last criteria, creativity and innovation, right? Making sure that what you're building is really a new solution. Sometimes we think we've got this bright idea, but somebody's already built it, it exists. So do that research. One great place to look is our Call for Code website. We have solution pages from the last several years with all of our finalist projects. So it's a great place to look at not only the types of projects that have already been done, but to get a sense of the types of projects that catch the judge's eyes, right? That's sort of solutions that we're looking for. They're great examples out on our website. But you want to make sure that you're building something that is a new solution we haven't seen before. And with this criteria, I always think of it as the wow factor. When judges look at your solution, you want them to say, wow, that's a huge problem. I've never seen it solved like this before. And this is a great idea. I want to see this solution out there because I think this is a great new way, a new approach to the problem. And especially with the AI component, are you using AI in a new way that we haven't seen before? So each of these is worth 5 points. The judges are going to grade each one on a scale of how effectively you're meeting the criteria. So with that, I want to move on to, you've looked at some of the key rules, you've looked at how the judges are going to review your projects. Let's talk about how you actually put your submission together and some of the key things you need to be looking at when you're ready to do that. So first off, I want to suggest that everybody who's competing goes and takes a look at the participation agreement. You may not have noticed it when you signed up for the Global Challenge. There was a checkbox that said, I agree to the participation agreement. And we all sign up for things and don't read the whole terms and service, right? We are all guilty of that. But do go read this PDF before you get too late into your challenge round, because it has all of the official rules, all of the eligibility for the Global Challenge. A lot of your questions can be answered by going through that participation agreement and understanding the rules for the competition. It's a great place to start to understand what you're responsible for submitting. The other really great resource to check out is this submission checklist that I've got highlighted here. This is on our competition resources site. And this takes you through all of the deliverables that your team needs to put together to submit for judging. And this page also has instructions on each one of these deliverables on exactly how to put it together, exactly what we're looking for. We've got templates for you. We've tried to make it as easy as we can for you all to figure out exactly what we're looking for each of these pieces. So spend some time with this. I wouldn't wait till the end of the challenge round. As soon as your team is ready and put together and have your ideas, start looking through these documents to understand what you're going to have to build. And then make sure you've got a team lead who or someone on the team who's responsible for gathering all these deliverables and getting them submitted on time, right? So do take a look at those documents. The other thing to be aware is that you can submit your materials. You don't have to wait till the end of the competition. You can submit anytime, even if you don't have everything ready yet. You can submit as many times as you want into your team, my team page. So do submit an early draft of your work. This is especially great because we've got Call for Code mentors ready to work with you and help you and kind of review what you're doing. So if you submit early, your mentors can kind of come in and take a look at your materials and give you some advice and some feedback. During the last week of each round, the Call for Code team will be reviewing any draft submissions and reaching out if we see that you're missing your video or you're missing some key deliverable. We'll reach out to you and give you that feedback. So it's a great idea to save a draft so that we can kind of give you that coaching you need in the last couple of weeks of the challenge round. And then finally, when it is time to put everything together, you don't have to wait till the last minute. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and get all of those deliverables pulled together and submitted. And we'll talk about some tips on some of these in a minute. But make sure, again, I would designate a team lead, someone on your team who's responsible for making sure that you go through the checklist and you have all of these materials ready. And again, the instructions for each of these are on our website. So with that, now we're going to give you some insider tips. Gaurav and I have been doing this for a little while. We've seen a lot of Call for Code successful projects. So we're going to share with you some of our top tips for what makes a successful Call for Code project. So Gaurav, I'm going to turn this one over to you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, tip number 1. So you all by now, I think, know that you all should include an IBM AI technology in your solution as a requirement. So I just wanted to highlight here, we have curated a full-fledged IBM AI technical training in our competition site, which we'll be sharing some links over there in chat. Feel free to explore that page. It has a very good overview video covering all the AI, embeddable AI technologies, giving a brief idea of what all this technology is offering today and how you can get started with. So, and then we have curated a dedicated learning path for each of this technology. So if after watching that video, if you think, okay, I like this technology, you want to learn about that, you can select that learning path, learn about the technology and how to get started and implement it. There are some very good stepwise instructed guided projects, which you can get an hands-on experience on them so that you can quickly implement it into your solution too. So feel free to explore them. Don't miss this opportunity of learning these technologies. They're all pretty straightforward, easy, stepwise guided projects, and they're also, some of them are available on free tiers on our IBM Cloud account. So we also have instructions on how to quickly set up free IBM Cloud account and then access to these services in our cloud and integrate it into your solutions. And again, we have another tab called Expert Talks. Feel free to explore that tab too. We have great sessions previously from our experts within IBM who have covered a couple of topics on AI technologies within IBM and also some deployment resources. So feel free to explore them and also leverage them on how to implement into your solution. Last thing I want to say on this tip is please take advantage of talking to your mentors, getting that help on how you want to implement the technology. If you're new to technology or if you're new to AI, you can always reach out to a technical mentor. They'll be most happy to help you on understanding what is the problem you're trying to solve, what relative or suitable technology can you implement into your solution to make it more valuable and bring that weightage to your project. Don't reinvent the wheel. What does this mean? A lot of people tend to when they know they're working on a problem and they're trying to create a solution, they want to just jump in right into creating or gathering some information on it and bringing, working on it from scratch. Like if say, for example, you want to gather some information on sustainability and implement, put it into your database, what people would usually do is explore internet or try to gather it from the local resources. What we have done is we have again curated useful resources and public data sets available, which could be in form of web page articles or data sets, or even offering from public tools or external tools, and also APIs. So where you can leverage them, bring those data sets. For example, there's publicly available data from NASA website. There's publicly available information from United Nations and Food and Agriculture Organization department. So we have curated all those data sets, and also some of the publicly accessible API that within IBM Developer resources that are available that you can leverage and utilize those information and plug it into your solution, so that you don't have to do everything from scratch, so that you have readily available information. So take advantage of that. Again, if you have any questions, if you think that there are some things you don't understand how to use them, reach out to your mentors. They are the best people who can help and guide you over here.
Yeah, there are so many great resources on our competitions, platform on our website that has, we have tons of resources and training. There's lots of good stuff to check out. The other thing I would mention, and I kind of touched on this before, but just taking the time to organize all of your deliverables, especially your code repository and your README. So we have a template out there, a README template that you can use. You can fill in the blanks. That's exactly what the judges are going to be looking for, right? Is what's in that template. But we want to understand in your README what problem you're trying to solve, what your unique solution is about. And we really want you to document how you use the technology, how you're using IBM AI services in your solution, how your technology works. We'd love to see an architectural diagram. Do document all of that in the README for the judges, because the more information you can give us, the better. Don't feel like you're writing too much. Write as much as you can about how your solution works, how the technology works, where you're using the technology. For our judges, our technical judges, they're really going to be wanting to look into your code and understand under the covers your technical solution. So help them find how you're using that code, that technology, and help them understand your code. Make sure your code is documented so they understand what they're looking at, right? Make it easy for them to see how great your solution is. So document as much as you can and fill in that README for us. And then the other tip I would throw in here, we've got a lot of judges. We've got technical judges, we've got business experts, we may have sustainability experts that are judging these projects. Different judges are going to look at different deliverables more than others, right? They're going to look at everything, but the technical judges may dig in more to your code. Some of the other judges may look a little bit more at your video. So your video is a really great way to tell the story of your solution. You want to tell a powerful, interesting story if you can. And I know we're not all video makers, right? But you've got 3 minutes to tell the story of what you're doing. If your video is longer, judges probably won't watch longer. They're going to watch 3 minutes. So keep it to 3 minutes. But in those 3 minutes, give us a complete story of what your solution is doing. And I love this timeline that the team has put together as an example for how you can lay out that video. So in the first 45 seconds, you want to talk about the problem you're trying to solve. And this is really where you talk about, in the real world, here is the sustainability problem that we see. And talk about how your solution does something new and unique to address that problem. Then you want to spend the bulk of the video doing a demo of your solution. I absolutely want you to show us your code and the technical part of it and how it works. But remember, I mentioned that user interface, the user experience. Talk about that too. So really demo end to end. How does a user find your solution? How do they use it? And then what's happening behind the scenes in the code, in the technology, show us that as well. So do that full demo of the solution, because remember, the judges have never seen your work before. You've been working on it for weeks, and so it's very familiar to you, but this is brand new to the judges. So tell us that story and help the judges understand how your solution would work beginning to end. And then in the last 20, 30 seconds of your video, it's great if you can also express what you think the impact will be, the potential that you see in the solution, right? You're doing a prototype version, but as we said, it's great if that can apply in other communities and scale. And if you have a vision and a roadmap for where you'd like the solution to go in the future, talk to us about that as well, so we understand the potential that there is in that solution. So those are some tips on putting together your deliverables and the resources that are available to you. As Gaurav said, there's great AI training and resources on our site. And then Gaurav, this is one that gets teams all the time. Talk to us about this one.
Sure. So the last one we wanted to highlight, the very important one again. So Jennifer was talking about how to showcase your solution through a very impactful video. Same thing, concept applies here. When you put so much of effort and energy in creating and addressing a very critical problem, in creating such an impactful solution, and when you submit your project, if you don't provide accessibility for the judges to look into it, then the whole effort goes to waste. So it's really important for you all to please keep in mind that when you're submitting your project or creating, say, for example, one of that is creating a Git repository, including all information. If you don't make that a public repository, and when you upload a video, best thing is to upload it on a YouTube and share the link because it's a public. Keep these things in mind so that judges can access your resources, which could be a code repository, it could be the demo video, or any files that you're planning to share. Even the roadmap too, right? So as long as they're accessible and judges can view them, it's easy for them to grade, understand your project, and you're doing everything that is required. But this is the key thing, that if you miss this part on sharing your projects and working on it without sharing them publicly, then all the effort goes to waste. So this is a very key part. So I wanted to keep big emphasis on this one.
Yeah, for sure. We like all of, as Gaurav said, your great work, we want to see it. So share as much as you can, make sure it's accessible, describe it as best you can, give us as much information, because the more you can share with the judges, the better the judges have an understanding of what it is you're trying to solve. Thank you all for joining us today. If you haven't signed up for the Global Challenge, hopefully everyone has, but there's a QR code here you can use to sign up. Don't forget to submit your solution by the end of the challenge round for a chance at prizes. And we look forward to seeing your solutions coming in. I'm really excited to see what's coming in this round. Thank you all for joining today.